Well, howdy there, Boone.
Howdy. Howdy indeed. About to
What's
hit up.
what's with the hat today?
I'm heading to the lake as soon as this is over. Going up to got a friend whose parents have a lake house, so I'm gonna go up there for the weekend, play a little golf tomorrow to celebrate Juneteenth, which I do not have off. And then Friday, gonna hang at the lake, gonna do some cooking. Saturday, hang at the lake again, and then come back Sunday. So I'm getting in the right mindset. I'm pretty pumped. It'll be, I think it'll be my first proper lake day this summer, which is crazy because the lake is my favorite spot. So I'm pretty stoked to get out there and just float aimlessly for a couple hours or a couple days rather.
Are you working tomorrow, or is it going to be a booze fest leading up to Game 6?
So I am gonna take the morning off. I'll check into what I missed in the afternoon. I'll be monitoring all day. But then it'll be getting ready. I don't know if you can tell, I took a little bit of the beard off to try to change up the mojo. Last time I shaved was before my event last week, and that was game 3. So I'm hoping to rekindle some of this mojo because I had not shaved for 5 or 6, 4 or 5. So we're hoping to see a little bit of love here.
So it sounds like you could be the direct reason for the losses, potentially, is what I'm hearing.
Could be, but I won't know until game 6. So if we lose game 6, then contrary to what I believed, I'm irrelevant and don't have any say. But I do have the exact fit down to the hat for that we wore for game 7 and game 3. So we're going all the way back to basics. I'm getting ready. I've got my pregame playlist ready to go. I'll be ready. I'll be ready for that game. I'm pumped that it's not tonight. I need one more day to wrap my head around it. And I also need it to be, if it's tonight, then it's frowned upon to just get like belligerently blacked out for the next couple days. Tomorrow, I have a good runway, for worst case.
Yeah, like blacking out on a Wednesday, you run into a lot of weird situations as an adult. Just kind of like he might have a problem.
Yeah. Which
and
I don't.
Also, if you black out on a Wednesday, you're gonna black it. You're just gonna roll into that on a Thursday because you're gonna sit. So once you do it once, it's like I don't have a choice for the rest of the weekend. Yeah. You're not gonna take it easy for the rest of the weekend.
Not at all. So we'll see. I mean, it's a big game. The Pacers are America's last hope to not have baseball season hit us in the face. We'll get to baseball obviously a little bit later. The only other sports we have besides basketball is a couple soccer tournaments that are pretty pointless. We'll get to those as well. But yeah, this is the Pacers are America's last chance to keep round ball alive.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Panthers last night kind of just dicked us around, didn't give us a shot at game 7. Hockey, I'm not even going to put that on the Oilers. I'm really not. The Panthers are just, I don't know what happened after game 5, but
yeah,
after game 4, excuse me, but
we've said a couple different times on this show that we're not puckheads. We like playoff hockey. We don't really pay attention. I said it on one of the earlier shows. I've said it on Twitter and other places, but I don't know shit about shit when it comes to hockey, but I typically am going to take the team with Bob on it, all the way back to his days in Tampa. Bobrovsky he's different. And as long as he's on one of the teams in the Stanley Cup, I'm going to probably go with that guy. McDavid is great. McDavid is probably the best player in the entire world right now. I don't even know if probably is. I just don't like speaking in certainties. But McDavid only plays 20 minutes a game. Bobrovsky's out there all 60. And when a goaltender gets on his head like that and is in the zone, again, my limited hockey knowledge, it seems to go their way. So yeah, I mean, kudos to Florida. 4 out of the last 5 cups are down in Florida. So that's
shit. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. It's no longer a when is Canada going to win it. It's a when are we going to get it out of Florida is the new conversation. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, even talking about
jobs.
It's, Connor McDavid played great, but he wasn't even the best offensive player in the last couple of games of the series. I mean, like Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand just took over the series, and being a Boston fan, it was tough to see how good Brad Marchand was in game 5, because I'm going to say he pretty much single-handedly won game 5, just put the game on his stick.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him, but dude, I didn't think it was going to hurt as much seeing him lift the cup like that and be so happy. Like,
did you see him put up the 2? Did you see him put up the 2?
Yeah,
You wouldn't even
when
know
he
last
started chanting "Thank you, Boston" with the crowd today, when they were out partying, that hurt. That hurt. That was a real kick of the dick. I was like,
the rat gets one more.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That team's so good, and the chemistry they have building down there. Plus, you're living in Florida, like on the water. Like, it's tough not to sign back there and stay there. Like, I'm sure their wives want to stay.
No income tax? Did you say that already? Yeah, no income tax. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Marchand, if I'm not mistaken, I think it could be 4, 5, 6, but I believe that the Panthers had 4 or 3 different players score over 5 goals in the Stanley Cup. It was either that or they had a 4, 5, and a 6, but I believe it was 2.
No, so it was Marchand, Bennett, and Reinhart. Because Reinhart put up 4 last night.
Yeah, Reinhart single-handedly not only ruined the series for people wanting more hockey, but the Draisaitl most goals thing, any chance it did have was eliminated last night. I don't think it really had much of a chance anymore, but it's tough. They're on a mission.
Yeah, it was also like just games 1 through 4, some of the best hockey I've ever seen in my life. Like, even by Stanley Cup playoff standards. And then games 5 and 6, like Florida just kind of took another step. I think part of that, like you said, is Bob kind of standing on his head. But also it just seemed like the Oilers goalies just kind of started collapsing a little bit. They didn't have poor goalie play. And then once you lose your confidence as a goalie, like that's a tough spot to be in.
While the other guy's confidence is through the roof. And like I've played goalie my whole life, obviously soccer, not hockey. But if you get yanked, like granted, soccer is different because you have a limited amount of subs. You're not typically going to get yanked. But once you lose your starting spot and then you come in, everything just feels so much more on you. And like in soccer, you're facing 5 to 8 real shots a game. Hockey, it's like 50 or 60 on a big day. Once you like they say it in basketball, once you start making a bunch of shots, the hoop feels way, way bigger. I mean, I imagine that puck for the Oilers were like is itty bitty by the end of that. Like, they just couldn't see it. The thing that blew me away that I've really dug into this Stanley Cup run is the screening of keepers. Like, I know you can do that. I've seen it before, but I feel like I was really paying attention to it. I don't know how you can see the puck anyways, let alone when somebody's in front of you and you have like a quarter of a second to find it. Like, they're just flailing in my head. Like, hockey goalies, impressive. But yeah, I think what the Oilers coaches did, like just the uncertainty around the netminder is just it makes it a little tougher to find a rhythm. Whereas you saw Bobrovsky just like find his home throughout the series and just be unstoppable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think honestly, here's my opinion. If you're in the Stanley Cup Finals, once a goalie's pulled and you replace him, and then if you don't go back to him the next game, you put the other guy in, that's it for the series. It's that guy for the rest of the series. You have to ride. You get the one switch. I don't think you can go back to the guy, no matter how bad the other guy plays. Like, it's just too much of a crapshoot.
I agree.
So, but that's that. Congrats to the Florida Panthers. Hopefully we'll get a Pacers win tomorrow night. We get one more day of basketball before it's the dreaded kind of lull summer. But with that, you also have a lot of fun things to do in the summer. So it does make up for it. And then, football's approaching here very quickly. I keep saying that. I keep seeing more and more Gamecocks news going on. NFL training camps can be here before we know it.
Yeah.
With that, I don't really have any new NFL news. I know you wanted to come back and comment on a few of your takes from Saturday, but nothing really major has happened news-wise since Saturday. But not sure if you still want to touch on those real quick.
Yeah, listen. We'll have and thanks to anybody who gave me a little grace on Saturday. I was down bad. I ended up not learning from my mistakes and sending it again that night. So it was just it was a weekend that didn't really exist. Let's save some NFL stuff for later on. We do have some stuff to get into. I have some news.
Okay.
As of 20 minutes ago, Shams Charania from ESPN. The Buss family agrees to sell the Lakers to Mark Walter, sources say.
Saw that.
This came out just about 20 minutes ago. At least it came out on ESPN. We were getting ready for the show, so I haven't really been on the Twitter machine too much. So it could have been already tweeted, but yeah, Mark Walter, CEO of diversified holding company TWG Global, which sounds like he's got a shitload of money just based on the title of his company. Walter has interest in multiple sports organizations, including the Dodgers, the Sparks, the Billie Jean Cup, which I think is tennis, Cadillac Formula One team, and Professional Women's Hockey League, which I didn't know existed. But yeah, so the Lakers, the Buss family, winning time is not being approved for a fourth season, if it even got to 4 seasons. Crazy news.
Yeah, no, so you don't see those things happening kind
No.
of behind the scenes. Like, definitely caught me off guard. I kind of saw it as I was logging into the show today. So
Yeah.
didn't really have a chance to digest that. But, I mean, wow. I wonder, very interested to see what that's going to bring the Lakers. Will there be changes to come for sure?
Yeah, it's just like it's weird. I know Jerry Buss has been or Dr. Jerry Buss, I think he's doctor. Whatever, due respect. I know he's been dead for a number of years, but like Jerry Buss is like a Jerry Jones. He's just anonymous. What's the Yankees guy? Cashman's?
Steinbrenner back in the day.
Yeah. So like there's just some names. You shouldn't really know owners unless it's your team's owner, but there are names in the ownership world that you just hear. And like Jerry Buss, obviously the show Winning Time brought a lot of, albeit, glamorized light to what he was doing, and it's obviously a TV show, but a lot of people our age didn't really know that because they weren't alive in the 70s. But just a guy who really changed how you could acquire things. Like he was trading real estate holdings. I think he was trading like properties that he owned for players instead of the normal things you see. So whether you like him or not, and the guy sounded like a total hound horn dog that just loved basketball, and he loved the spotlight, and he loved just exciting paparazzi, lights, cameras. So a real stalwart in the game. I mean, a real legend of NBA and a family whose name you know. So it'll be sad to see them go. Yeah, Lakers have been owned since 1979 by the Buss family. I'm not a Lakers fan, so I don't really care from that standpoint, but just crazy news that I did not expect to hear.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a shift in tides too. Like you said, once you go away from the family, and I think, within our lifetime too, and maybe sooner versus later, we'll be getting the same thing going on with the other Jerry Jones. Like, I don't see them holding on to that for too much longer after his death. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I feel like once you kind of lose the patriarch of the family like that, the money starts to become a thing at a certain point, and if the passion isn't there, the passion isn't there.
Yeah, and once you realize how hard it is to do some of this stuff, if you don't love it, you're probably going to just be like over it. I imagine that's probably what happened here with the Buss family. And then somebody saying, "Hey, do you want this $1 billion?" And you're like, "Yeah, I would like that $1 billion." Or
wait, what was the total figure? Did we get the figure?
It doesn't say that yet. It just says it's entered into an agreement.
I bet it's got to be 8 to 9 billion would be my guess.
The Lakers are currently valued at approximately $8.07 billion, making them, they're the third most valuable behind the Warriors and the Knicks. That's kind of surprising to me.
Wow.
But
so it's got to be around there, I'd guess. At least 7.
You would think they'd probably get a cool 9 out of it, at least. I don't know that many people that are selling. It's not like the Lakers is a dying commodity that they're trying to offload. There's only 30 teams. Sports
franchises are something that's very drastically increasing in value, pretty much across even bad ones, even bad teams are increasing across the board. They're so limited, so in few and far between. It's the cool thing to do. So that's exciting. I'm kind of excited to see what comes about that. I'm excited to see that final figure whenever that gets announced.
Yeah, it's such a this league type move though too. Like just when everyone's worried about the NBA playoffs ending, we've got some this league news. I'm sure they'll wait till free agency period and they'll announce. We'll see some LeBron. I always knew Jerry was going to sell the team. I called it back in 2015. So we'll see some of that stuff, but it'll be entertaining. At least something to talk about over the summer.
Yeah, no, that'll be. We'll see.
The only other NBA news I had while we're here, Desmond Bane got traded to the Magic. I'm a big Desmond Bane fan. I think he's a great shooter. I think the Magic needed offense from any possible place. They had one of the best defenses in the league. But if Franz Wagner's not shooting well and Paolo's not getting to the rack, they're just pretty limited offensively. And having a guy that can just light it up from 3, albeit with tiny, tiny little arms, it is going to be helpful. Now they gave up 4 first-round picks, I believe, which is a lot, which is definitely a lot for a guy who's I think is very good, but not like a superstar. He's not even really a star. He's just a very, very good piece.
I feel like they definitely overpaid for him.
They might have overpaid, but if you think about it from their standpoint, okay, we were the 7th seed this year. We think we've got a ton of young talent, and we think this guy's offensively going to help us make up for some of our offensive deficiencies. They could be thinking, okay, like these picks are going to be 20 to 25 for the next 4 years. What does it matter? In that case, I think Desmond Bain is probably better than anyone you'll be able to take a shot on. But you never know. Like Jokic was a 2nd-round pick, that kind of deal. So I do also think they overpaid slightly, but I like the move for both teams. I think the Grizzlies are about to have a massive overhaul. I think Ja's going to be on the block here soon. I think they're just starting it over. They fired their coach. Some new things in the front office. I think they'll probably make a move on either Edey or Jaren Jackson too. I don't think they keep both. I think they keep one of those guys, and I definitely think Ja Morant goes somewhere. I wouldn't be shocked to see Ja Morant go to the Rockets for Jalen Green, and having or even Fred VanVleet in some sort of package there, because I think they'll miss out on the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. But yeah, a lot of different stuff there. NBA is getting ahead of the free agency window, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, my thing on that, well, on your Ja Morant comment, I just don't think I want Ja Morant on my team, if I'm being totally honest. The talent's there. I just don't think I don't think you're winning a championship with Ja Morant. I'll put it that way. I'm just going to get out and say that.
I don't know that I agree, man. I love Ja Morant. I think you got to get him out of Memphis. Get him somewhere like Milwaukee or like Indiana, where it's relatively quiet. Milwaukee might be.
I'll give him one more trade, but it's definitely not happening in Memphis, and I just don't think it's happening anywhere.
No, but I don't know that anyone's winning in Memphis.
No.
So, but yeah, that's those are my 2 round ball pieces. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, next show we'll know whether the Pacers are kings or if they are. Just got my hopes up. It's okay either way. I'll understand, but yeah, games 4 and 5 sucked. That's my Pacers take.
Yeah. So what's the deal with Halliburton? I know I saw he's getting an MRI today. Is he 100% out tomorrow?
I don't think he'll be 100% out tomorrow. I don't know why Carlisle insisted on putting him back in and taking McConnell out. I would have just kept even if. What's the point of putting Halliburton back in when he's already down? McConnell's playing really well. They cut the lead at one point, like 2 early in the 4th quarter. Just leave him in and give him some extra minutes of rest and like just not have him run around in a literal NBA Finals game. I think he'll play. If they know he's not going to be a factor offensively from a points standpoint, and all he can really do to affect the game is pass, that's going to hurt the team a lot. If he's not going, if he's not able to play like 80%, we have no chance, unfortunately, because we don't have another guy that facilitates the way he does. Siakam can get his buckets. Nembhard and Nesmith can both shoot threes and light it up if they're having a good day. Nembhard can run the offense. He can run the offense. McConnell can run the offense. It's just different when you have 6'2" or 6'3" McConnell and Nembhard running the offense versus 6'6", like triple-double machine Halliburton running the offense. Him being limited is going to be tough. I'd be lying if I didn't have the Kevin Durant Achilles pop like picture in my head still. Anytime you see like calf soreness or lower leg soreness on an athlete that is jumping and is explosive. I know he's not the most explosive guy, but NBA players inherently are explosive. It's just a lot of explosive movements and pushing, and it doesn't seem like a good move, but it's the finals. You know, he's got to play. He's got to start. Unless he's going to die, he's got to play. It's just, that's what it is.
No, I agree. Now, apart from him, if I was going to wake up Friday morning and I didn't watch the game, who's going to be the one player besides Halliburton that's going to help you guys win on Thursday? Who's going to need to have that big game, or who's going to step up for you?
Turner's got to hit threes. Turner's got to hit threes, and Turner's got to win the Chet minutes in some capacity. Whether it doesn't have to be a plus minus, but he's got to defensively frustrate Chet. He's got to meet him at the rim. I don't understand why we keep going back to Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley's fine. I know it's because Thomas Bryant's might not be big enough for Ike Hart, and like losing Isaiah Jackson early in the season to a torn Achilles really hurt the team as well. But Miles Turner can't bang down low with both those guys all game. Miles has to be hitting threes, and one of Nembhard or Neesmith needs to have 4 threes at least. I would prefer it to be Neesmith because Nembhard has done a really, really good job. Points aside, Nembhard's done a really good job guarding and just frustrating SGA. You almost can't even say Benedict Mathurin or TJ McConnell anymore because they've done it and we've lost games still. But yeah, I would say Turner's got to have a big 3-point shooting game. That would be my key because he's also the longest tenured pacer. I think he's been there 10 years, if not 11. And the crowd is going to respond to him more so. And his series offensively has not been very good so far. So him hitting some threes would be the biggest piece. But honestly, I think the key to the game, it's not player specific. If we can have less than 15 turnovers, which I know sounds like a lot, but we just keep having 20 turnover games. We could have under 15 turnovers. I think we have a really, really good shot. But to answer your question, I think it's probably got to be Miles Turner.
Okay. Interesting. Well, looking forward to kind of breaking that down next Tuesday. Kind of going over, see what happens there.
Yeah. And next Tuesday, just kind of looking ahead a little bit, obviously, but I'm going to be on vacation after that. And it'll be my last show, and then I'm heading to Barcelona for 2 weeks. So the week of the 4th, we will be off on that week. I'm sure that you're going to be going to do something as well. But I'll be in Barcelona. So go ahead.
I might have an issue with you. Are you going to be in Barcelona on the 4th of July? That's fucked up.
I know.
That's un-American. I don't care how cool it is. I don't care what's going on. It's fucked up.
I know. Trust me.
Disgusting, embarrassing. You should be ashamed of it. That's all we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm not even going to give you a chance to defend yourself. There's nothing you can say.
It's a wedding, but yeah, I get it. No, I get it. I said the same thing. I told my girl. It's my girlfriend's old roommate. I told her that we should go ahead and just change our passports to Canadian and find a nice little house in Montreal if we're going to do that. That fight did not end well, and I lost. I lost that fight. Worse, the Oilers were closer to the Panthers last night than I was to winning that fight.
I feel like that's probably how most of those fights go. You don't really have a choice.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, as I was getting ready to argue, the little angel on my shoulder was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And the devil's like, fuck it, America. And I lost. But yeah.
See, on the flip side of that argument, here's what I'm going to say to you. If you had been like, hey, how about you just go and I stay home? Obviously, that wouldn't work. But if it was your friend's wedding and you said that, like, and she didn't want to come, like, you wouldn't care.
No.
Like, that's just the flip side of those things.
I'm out of here. You turned me into the blacking out for the whole weekend if you're not going
to You just turned my wedding vibe completely into I became a liability at the wedding. I'd like call you like, hey, you have to come.
Yeah. So it is tough.
At least Barcelona's sick. I will give Barcelona that. Barcelona's awesome.
We're going to be on Menorca, which is the smaller island next to Mallorca, for the first half of the trip. And we've got a little Airbnb right on the bay. So walk out. We got a pool on the balcony. Walk out right onto the water. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, it'll be my first non-American 4th of July in my life.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I refuse to ever do one. I'm also single, so that could change at some point. But
yeah.
I think there's some fights I just know I won't win.
Yeah.
But
you win a lot of arguments, it sounds like right now.
Yeah, I argue with myself. I make all the rules. But if I don't want to do something, I'm just not going to do it.
I got you, man.
Being 28, living alone, no, nothing I do.
Yeah.
If I don't want to do it, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
However, speaking of things people didn't want to do, Rafael Devers not wanting to play field for the Boston Red Sox. Big news out of the Red Sox, ends up getting traded to the Giants for basically a pile of trash and a 5th pitcher is kind of how I'm viewing it. So the Red Sox got absolutely nothing in return, in my opinion. However, with that being said, I still think it was the right move. I think he was a problem in the locker room, going to be a problem in the locker room. Have a really young team. He had a huge contract. Excited to see Roman Anthony, Marcel Meyer, Kristen Campbell all break out, have huge years. But now it's up to the Red Sox ownership, an ownership group I fucking hate currently. They refuse to spend money. They act like a mid-market team. You live in fucking Boston, Massachusetts. You're one of the biggest markets there is for baseball. Go out and spend money. So I'm hoping they got rid of Devers and things will change coming off season. But that was some big news that kind of surprised everybody on Father's Day. I don't think a lot of people saw that. I got a lot of funny videos of my friends kind of telling their dads during Father's Day, being like, oh, you're fucking with me. And on Father's Day, well, no, it was the reality. Very odd timing for that, but big news in the baseball world. Still kind of trying to wrap my head around it. It's definitely one of those things where I sort of saw it coming. I agree with the trade, not with what we got in return, but definitely a shocking turn of events.
Yeah, would you say that majority of Red Sox fans feel the same way you do about Devers leaving, not about the Red Sox ownership? I think that's pretty well documented. Red Sox fans don't like the ownership right now. But about Devers specifically not being good that he's out of the locker room.
I would say it's probably pretty much a toss-up with that, to be totally honest, because he's the last kind of homegrown superstar we have in the roster.
Yeah.
We lost, but a lot of people are very loyal to Devers because he grew up here. We lost Bogarts, lost Benintendi, lost Betts, Bogarts, all those guys. So he's kind of the last one there. And so I think some people, initial reaction, are absolutely going to hate it. I think some people are more so starting to come around. And that's kind of what you're seeing more in the media as well. But with that being said, it's inexcusable. I mean, maybe I don't know baseball GMs that much, but what we got in return just doesn't really make sense to me. It's two pitchers that, based off the numbers, are just awful. I think the ERAs are both over 5.
Yeah.
And I get wanting to get something in return, but those guys aren't going to help us anyway. I'd rather just risk it on getting more prospects, getting other things, instead of two pitchers that I think are just going to be more of a liability for us than anything. So I think the bigger issue becomes and especially when you initially see the trade, you see us getting pretty much nothing in return for an absolute superstar who's done a lot for the team and a lot of people have grown very fond of over the years. So I think that's where the bigger issue was, and a lot more issues with it initially. And I'm still not over the fact that we got so little for him. It just doesn't really make sense to me.
Was he on the last World Series team?
He was, yes.
So that team is pretty much gone now.
There's not a single player from that starting lineup that's still on the roster. Either
retired. A lot of those guys are still balling in the league, right? Like Mookie.
Betts, Bogarts, Benintendi's, kind of falling off a little bit. None of them are kind of as good as they were. I mean, Devers is arguably better, but Chris Sale, he won a fucking Cy Young last year. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the Red Sox just have been going downhill pretty much since 2018 when they last won the World Series. So I'm hoping we have a really, really good young core. Lineup's good. Let's let them develop this year. I don't really think anything's happening this year. Get a good offseason, bring in a couple extra players, and we'll see where we go. But it was something that was kind of bound to happen with all the issues that happened in the offseason and the locker room issues. It was due. I just didn't think it should have been done this way.
And who did y'all bring in that played his position?
Alex Bregman from the Astros. And unfortunately, he's just injured right now. Right. He's actually having a really good year. I've always loved Alex Bregman.
I like Bregman as well.
Player for the Astros. He's been good. He's been good. Very solid pickup. So that's a good spot. Good little leadership on the team once he gets back and healthy. So we'll see where that goes. But the pieces are there for the Red Sox. There's definitely they're a good team. They could make a playoff run this year. I'm not going to say do well in the playoffs. They could make the playoffs this year. And depending how the development goes of some young players, be in a very good position to be a good team next year, bring in some additional pitching help, maybe get 1 or 2 more bats. But big issue right now is our pitching. We just don't have a lot of depth and talent across the board. Some guys have actually been pitching really well lately, though. So kind of something exciting.
Pitcher, huh?
Yeah. Well, these guys are going to suck. I have no hope for them. Hopefully I'm wrong. But I have no faith in them. Just because that's what always is going to happen. That way people can be even madder about the trade. However, I am really excited, as we're talking about basketball about to be over here, hockey just ending, having 3 brand new prospects on the Red Sox, both top 10 prospects and 3 top 10 prospects in baseball, all just getting up to the majors. actually giving me a much bigger reason to be excited to watch the Red Sox every night.
Yeah.
How are they doing? How are they getting better? So something to follow for me. So gives me a little bit of something to look forward to as we kind of get into the dog days of summer.
Yeah, and it sounds like that Roman guy. I'm not a baseball guy, obviously, but this Roman guy, didn't he crank a dinger like his first at bat or something?
No, so he actually just hit his first home run. I want to say it was on Tuesday night. It was Monday or Tuesday. Hit his first major league home run. He's been slumping a little bit to start his major league career, but that's okay. I mean, he's making contact with the ball, so I don't think he's like overmatched. He doesn't look terrible. He's just got to figure it out a little bit, and I hope they kind of let him work out the kinks. Like I said, this year is a championship year. It's a great year to get your guys ready and get them. He's only like 21 years old.
Okay, that was my next question.
And side note, he has an absolute rocket ship of a sister. We're talking just absolute dynamite.
On my work computer, so I'm not going to look it up on my computer.
She was one of those after his first game at Fenway Park, and she came to visit. She gave a hug, and I believe her Instagram followers blew up to about 25,000 overnight. So,
yeah, the first link is Roman Anthony's stunning sister turns head in bikini.
Yep.
All right, the U.S. Sun. Good for him, or not. I do wish right now, as we sit, I'm looking at the standings. I wish that Soto had stayed on the Padres, because this would be a fun little NL West that we could have here with the Dodgers, Devers on the Giants, and the Padres. With is Bogart still there? Bogart's Machado.
I'm pretty sure Bogart still is a Padre. Yep.
Yeah, so Bogart's Machado and Soto. That'd have been a fun little three. Could have been fun. The only baseball thing that I can even put in here is I'm dumb. So I'm not a GM, I'm not a manager, I'm not an owner. How can you sweep your biggest rival, the Yankees, to go back over 500 and then you trade the guy? Like, I get you have the trade set up. It's not a reactionary trade. But if I'm the owner and we just sweep the Yankees to go back over 500, everyone's feeling good, and we just called up the Roman guy, just keep the vibes going. You're not winning anything anyways this year. Just keep the vibes.
See, I think that's the issue where they're like, well, we think we can win more games without him because he's causing problems in the locker room. Just like, I don't fucking know what's going on. And then
baseball, give me a break. He's not passing the ball to somebody. He's not blocking for somebody. He's not trying to get an assist for somebody. Who the fuck cares if he's a shithead in the locker room and they go mashes some taters? What are you talking about, dude? And he was under contract for 10 years, right? 10 more years? What are we talking about?
So, like, that could be the other reason we didn't get a lot back is because of all the money under contract. Like, the Giants absorbed every cent of it. It's like, we don't have it, but still, he's in his prime. Like, he's playing really good baseball.
Yeah, and he's not like he's not in his prime as an athletic outfielder. He's in his prime as a tater masher. Yeah,
packing the fattest lips in the major league.
Dude, well, yeah, like you don't think he can hit a couple dingers at 36?
Yeah,
like what are we talking about? But yeah, my algorithm switched briefly from angry Knicks fans to angry Red Sox fans, and I didn't have to do anything to get them there. Which my daily shot at the Knicks. Y'all are such a sad, pathetic organization. Such a sad and pathetic group of people. The only franchise in New York, in the city of New York, that you're less successful than the Mets. Like, what are we talking about, Knicks?
That's tough. That might be the meanest thing you said to them.
Sorry, that's just they're on my algorithm, so fuck them.
Well, with some positive news coming on Sunday, happy Father's Day. Hope all the fathers had a wonderful day. But can we talk about the U.S. Open for a minute? And just those conditions were just absolutely horrendous. If I think the two leading group, one shot +8 on Sunday, the other shot +7 maybe.
Yeah.
Burns should be filing some sort of grievance for the shot they made him play.
Yeah.
And then once that shot happened, it was over for him. He lost every ounce of hope there. And funny enough, on Saturday we discussed it. Pretty much right after we got off the pod, your bet hit with the hole-in-one.
Yeah, so, I know.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But then Sunday happened, and man, what a Sunday.
Yeah. I keep going back as I was thinking about like the notes for this. You texted me, you're like, Rahm is going to fuck around and win this tournament. And I said, there's no shot. Rahm started the day at +7. And he finished at +4, which looking back, what a day. Go -3 on the day. But I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, he might actually fucking do this. He might just be chilling at the clubhouse. I'm relatively new to watching golf. I didn't start playing until COVID. Never in my life that I remember, my golf life, as a major, had only one person finish under par. I mean, that was the one of us Super Bowl. Just watching people like fuck shots, like watching people, and in my head I'm laughing because like I'll see them hit a shitty shot that's so close to being good, and if I'm out there with my buddies, I'm giving that little foot wedge. I'm not counting the stroke. Like we're going back on the fairway and we're trying again. What a fun tournament! What just like collapses. The putt to win it from JJ Spawn was awesome. I mean, what a guy! What a guy! I actually listened to his interview on Pardon My Take a little bit from today just to hear what he had to say. And super interesting dude.
Well, I mean, it was like his second ever win on tour,
First major,
and like he had like he's like, yeah, I was always in my head. Talk about getting back out of your head. He bogeyed 5 of the first 6 holes on Sunday.
He's
comes back. What?
Like, he was +4 through 5. Like, what are we doing?
But also, one thing I have to comment on, I heard this pre-tournament.
Yeah.
It was like 7. They purposely have like 7 or 8 different types of grass on that course. So you can't figure out how to hit it. So like each hitting the ball out of one type of grass is different than the other.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking thinks of that kind of shit? Like, that just seemed miserable. Like the balls kept getting lost. Like you were 3 feet from having a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Now that's 10 feet into the weeds, dude.
Yeah. The equivalent of the like Harvard Business Fellows is like whatever turf grass program hand selects 10 kids from the best of the best to go and create the grass layout for the US Open.
Yeah. But I mean, talk about that putt to end it. It was like, honestly, like just, that's like when talk like, how can you not love sports? It's like just one of those moments, like just an absurd putt, the longest putt of the weekend to win it in those conditions for a guy who, really deserves it. Kind of brings me back when a few years ago, Gary Woodland won the US Open, which is like a guy that's not generally at the top of the leaderboard or anything. Just everyone, just good story. You're happy for him. And I feel like that happens at the US Open sometimes because the best players in the world kind of play down sometimes at the US Open because it's so tough. And then you just get in your own head.
So I learned this today, again, on his interview on PMT. He got run over by a car when he was 5 years old.
Excuse me?
Yeah, like run over. He was underneath the car, like covered in grease, like run over. Apparently the woman who hit him thought she hit a cat. But he like ran over.
Either he was a really small child or that's one big
he was 5, but like just completely sucked underneath the car, like to where it could have been fatal, like a half inch one way or the other. And then on top of that, he was misdiagnosed with the wrong type of diabetes. And didn't find that out until he had lost like 45 pounds. And his buddy was like, yeah, you need to go to a doctor now. Right now. They diagnosed him with type 2 and he was actually type 1, which I don't know anything about diabetes, but
I figured they'd be treated the same way. So I
would too, but I think 1 is you're born with it and 1 you develop. So like I imagine
I know 2 you develop from being a fat ass.
Yeah.
1
so I guess he just had diabetes his whole life and it never was caught. I don't really know. This is one of those like our Twitter profile, maximum takes minimal research. I heard it on one podcast. I'm not going to do any research, but hit by a car and misdiagnosed with diabetes.
If I hear something, unless it's completely stupid, I'm just going to believe it. I have no reason to fact check that.
Yeah. And if it's a cool story, I'm certainly not fact checking it.
No, like I'd rather it be cool.
Like, what happens if I find out that he was run over, but it was like a Barbie dream car? Like, that's not interesting. Like in my head, he got run over by a Hummer, and that's awesome. Actually, no. If he gets run over by a Hummer, he's probably just walking underneath.
I have a minivan in my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. Or maybe like a Hyundai Sonata, something dumb. No. A Chevy Impala. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah. Little car talk on the pod. But regardless, congrats to JJ Spawn. On Father's Day, apparently his daughter was super sick the night before, throwing up, and he had to go to like a minute clinic, so got the full dad treatment. Had to take care of his sick daughter late the night before, and then go play a little golf with the boys on Sunday. I mean, that's about as dad as it gets.
Yeah. W dad moment. I think that's kind of the way you want to win on Father's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't
now,
the last thing I have about the course, obviously the course is tough, and that's the whole point. You can't be a US Open course and you have to walk across the freeway for like hole 2 to hole 3. Did you see any of that?
Yeah.
You can't, you got to do something different. You got to do something. That looks so whack, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And it's also crazy. That's the most played course in US Open history.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I want to say it was the 7th time, maybe 6 or 7. Now I think there's something we didn't touch on this on Saturday, and I think we unfortunately have to come back around to it.
Let's hear it.
The Sydney Sweeney soap situation.
Yeah. So
those were officially released, just in case anyone was not aware. And let me make sure I have this right here. It sold out in 22 seconds.
So I've come around on this take. I've come full circle on this take. I think it's a good thing that they're doing this, because clearly this is so insane that this is the beginning of a crazy To Catch a Predator documentary. And we're gonna have the same people from Don't Fuck with Cats, we're gonna have the same people on the scene tracking down these people and arresting them one by one for being harmful to society and creepy. So I've come fully around. I think Dr. Squatch is doing the right thing to help nab creeps and weirdos. If I don't start seeing files released like this is Epstein's Island, then I'm going to go fully back, and I think we need to arrest everyone at Dr. Squatch. Like I mentioned on the last time, I'm a subscriber to Dr. Squatch. I actually have some of the soaps in the bathroom. Good soaps. Now I've got to find new soaps. I've got to find new soaps now. I can't be associated after the shit I've talked.
Yeah, you don't want to have that box. You don't have that box lying around your apartment and someone misconstrue what's going on there. Yeah. Especially with a lot of those videos of people posting the soap with the hole in it. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
and you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
In reality, I am not going to do that, because canceling any subscription is. Yeah, I'm just a man, but I'm standing up disavowing other people's used bathwater.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing on canceling subscriptions. I pay for 2 Paramount Plus subscriptions. And I call people all day for cold calls. So it's not like I'm afraid to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm terrified to have that conversation. So I'm just going to continue paying the $5 every month. That's that.
Yeah. It's just like,
maybe when that credit card expires, I'll stop paying it.
Or if I leave it open at the bar or something. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I feel you. Canceling a subscription is like, I guess I just quitting? I live here now. Yeah. But yes, other people's bathwater so bad.
So I'm going to stick on the creepy vibe here for a minute, and this might be worse than the Dr. Squatch situation, and it has to do with our government. So I'm just going to open this up for you. I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay. Oh, this is the article. This is the article. Okay, I'm excited. I've been waiting for this article for like 3-4 days now.
So it's pulling up here. So let me go ahead and show that to you.
Oh, that is going to be used to sneak and creep on people so quickly.
So basically what it's going to be here, hopefully you guys can see this as I'm scrolling down. TSA, instead of using the manual pat-down system, is going to use VR, and these fucking guys are going to use virtual reality to pat you down. So they're going to be patting down the air instead of actually touching you, but it's going to be the air of your body. So like they're going to be feeling you up and down, but it's not actually going to feel you. So you don't feel what they're touching. You're just going to see them touching you.
Okay.
And can you imagine the creep that has that VR on? You're standing there with whatever system to hook up to you, and he's just going up and down, patting everywhere, trying to find what's supposedly on you. And it's virtual reality.
So is this X-ray or like?
No, they're just going to put basically the VR thing on. Yeah. And he's just going to be feeling up whatever, but he's not actually touching you. So there's going to be like a virtual reality imprint of your body, and he's just going to be able to get all handsy with it in the VR system.
Jail. I don't understand how this is going to work. Like,
me neither, but the concept is just absolutely
creepy. Concept is creepy. I'm going to get felt up by somebody that is not feeling me up.
And that's the thing too, because you like, at least if you feel them doing it, you know where they're at. If you can't feel it, they're just going at it.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen there? Like, they're gonna spend too much time somewhere. Like, I don't really know about that.
I think I'm gonna need to like throw a can of Pringles in my pants and see what his reaction is. see if he's
well, then you might have to do additional screening anyways.
Yeah, well, anything to feel the touch of somebody.
Jesus. I should be the one saying that. I'm single. Good God. That's the better thing. Girlfriend.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you fight about spooning.
Yeah.
I that was not developed for that purpose. That's all I'll say. Somebody developed that for something much, much creepier.
Yeah, like, and the idea that we're developing this, I don't like that. And here's another thing on robots, to jump off the creepiness thing. Again, just more so scary. I got almost hit the other day walking, I forget where I was walking back from, and a fucking Uber Eats robot pulled up next to me as I'm about to cross the street to deliver someone's food. That's getting out of hand for me. We can't be having robots delivering food. It seems every day there's a new robot thing going on, and I'm not here for it.
Did you see the Boston Dynamics dogs were at the America's Got Talent?
No.
Yeah, they had the dogs out there like as America's Got Talent they're just trying to normalize these robot dogs. I won't.
Who's ever getting a robot dog?
The police.
Okay, yeah, that I can get behind. Catch the predators. Love that.
Yeah, but they won't be catching the predators. They'll be catching normal everyday citizens, and it'll be great. Everything was going to go awesome. But it's almost like we haven't had movies like Matrix or The Terminator or iRobot.
iRobot specifically. Have we watched iRobot again? If you're on Team Robot, I'm telling you right now, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm a self-proclaimed carbonist. If you don't emit carbon because you're a real carbon being, I'm out on you. And when the robots take over, because they will, I'm gonna go down in some sort of very fiery doom. But I'm a carbonist, and I stand firm on that.
And on that note too, spoiler alerts incoming. So heads up, I recently saw the second Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning, whatever the hell it's called. Who cares?
You say the second?
It's like the second part of the final movie. It's a 2-movie finale. I don't know. Whatever. I just saw the last movie. Whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing happens there. There's an AI situation where AI starts taking over the world and causing all sorts of problems. We gotta stop fucking around with this shit.
Yeah.
It's the ideas that are in these movies are so believable. It just doesn't seem like it's that far-fetched to happen. Yeah. So I don't know why we keep messing around with it.
Right. Especially in today's world where it's actually like these robots are actually becoming sentient in some regards. Like, and then once that happens, they start building more sentient robots. I mean, there's Family Guy did a spoof on this. Rick and Morty did a spoof on this. I mean, we're screwed. We're screwed.
And I do want to touch on that movie though. Listen, I'm sick of movies that just movies are getting close to 3 hours pretty commonly now, or like past 2.5 hours. And listen, if it's needed, I'm all for it. If it's a great movie, I'll sit there and watch it. But when you're having scenes that can be done in 5 minutes and they're taking 15, 20 minutes, it's like, I don't want to see the same thing done over and over again.
Yeah.
Just to make it more cool or more draw out the suspense. Then I just start hating them. It's just, what am I going to do? Now I'm never going to rewatch this. And it's just happening too much. Don't get me wrong. There's also the flip side where time is needed. Like in Oppenheimer, for example, you needed the full movie. Again, over 3 hours. I'm still going to be tough to get me to go rewatch it soon. I might still though, because it needed the build up.
Yeah. And I feel the exact same way about The Irishman. The Irishman, you could cut out a whole hour of that movie and get a much better movie. And I would have rewatched it. I watched that movie once. I'll never watch it again because I don't have 3 hours.
It took me 3 days to watch it because it was just too slow at points.
It took me 2 plane rides. Yeah. And I get you got to watch it in one go. But if I'm sitting down for 3 hours, I'm watching Oppenheimer. I'm watching the Avatars. I'm watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I'm not watching The Irishman.
No.
Or I'm not watching anything.
You're just going to get bored. No, I know you went and saw the
How to Train Your
How to Train
Dragon.
Your Dragon,
Yes.
sorry.
So to your exact point, this is why I like animated kids movies. Granted, this was a live action remake, but in and out, hour 50, beautiful. Really good movie. Gerard Butler plays is the voice actor for the dad in the animated movies. So he's the actual actor in this one. So that was nice because the voices are the same. But the rest of them aren't. From a visual standpoint, I thought they did a really good job, especially with the dragons, the CGI on the dragons. All looked super cool. The setting looked cool. I'm assuming it's probably somewhere in Norway because that's kind of what the Vikings are doing. It's a Viking movie. Great film. I'm excited for hopefully they do the second and the third one. Like they remake those as well. But if you've seen the animated one, then you've seen this movie. They stuck completely to the script. There's not really any varying or any like change to the story. So on that regard, I both loved it because I love the original, but you kind of want something else. It's like paying money to go to the theaters to see a movie you've already seen and stuff. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. Good movie. I'm excited for the next one to hopefully come out as well. I've seen a lot of movies this year. Tuesday half price movie night. It's been big in our household.
I gotta start going back to the movies. I love going to the movies. On that note, based on what you just said, I don't think I'll be going to see that in the theaters. I think I'll just wait for it to come out.
Yeah,
but it'll be worth the watch. And back to the animated movies, I know we did our top 5 dogs draft a few weeks back.
Yeah.
I went back and rewatched 101 Dalmatians the other day.
The OG one?
What?
The OG one? Yeah.
I don't think we gave Pongo enough credit. Pongo is kind of goated. Pongo's a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
He really leads the story in that movie.
He's too British. I couldn't have him in my 5.
That's fair. But I mean, he was a hero, just a superhero dog. So I want
to see the Cruella prequel.
What?
Did you ever see the Cruella prequel, like the origin story?
I don't think so.
Emma.
Wait, The Devil Wears Prada?
No. Similar vibes.
Okay.
Emma Stone plays Cruella. It's on Disney Plus. It's actually very good. I was entertained.
Is it a live action one?
Well, yeah, because it's just all real people. There's not.
Okay, actually, I think I have seen that. Seen that.
Very good movies. But you know what I was thinking, because I knew we were going to talk a little bit of the silver screen here today. What movie franchises or series have you missed and you're just like, I'm all set? Like for me, it's I haven't seen a single Mission Impossible. And I'll probably never go back and watch any of them. I'm not a Tom Cruise guy, so that also helps. But another one like Fast and Furious, I've never seen any of them. I think it's just too late. I'm just good.
So here's the thing on that. I'm a huge movie person, so I don't know if there's a franchise that I haven't indulged in.
Star Trek?
Seen it.
Really? Okay.
I won't go back and watch like the old Star Trek. So I'm like the Chris Pine Star Treks. I've seen those. I won't go back and watch the new ones because I didn't love it. Now, for example, Fast and Furious, I got sick of it after like the 6th one or something. So I'm not finishing it. Don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Like I was looking back, like I've seen the new Star Wars, or not even the new ones. I've seen like 1, 2, and 3, but I haven't seen like the original 4, 5, and 6, and I haven't seen any of the new remakes that are out on Disney. Like so I haven't seen any of those. I haven't seen any of the Jurassic Parks, which I know kills you.
See, that's where you're messing up because the first Jurassic Park fucking rocks.
Isn't that Spielberg?
Yeah. So like that one you should definitely worth watching. 1 and 2. 3 kind of gets a little ridiculous. After that, I mean, listen, that's definitely one you should at least indulge the first one in because you don't really need. It's not like one of those where it's like a build up. It's just the same concept every time. So Star Wars I had never seen until I watched the Mandalorian TV show. Loved it. So then I was like, I have to watch the original 6 movies or whatever. Didn't really care for them. They were kind of boring. So I won't watch that. But
what order did you watch those in? Did you go like the 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, or did you watch 1 through 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
If I'm not gonna sit here and do that weird ass movie shit when I have the chance to watch them chronologically. What the fuck is the point of doing that?
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is when you see a big Star Wars fan in the wild, and I tell them that I haven't seen him. I've only seen the first 3, and they're like, "Oh, those are the only good ones." And I'm like, "No, I mean 1, 2, and 3." And then their face drops. They get all disappointed. Those aren't even good. It's like, you don't know that I did this just to upset you.
You can also spot a Star Wars fan in the wild pretty easily. They stick out like a sore thumb. Like it doesn't take much, and usually within the first 6 to 7 sentences of conversation, it's clear.
I also haven't seen any of the Avengers.
See, those if they're not your thing, they're not your thing.
It's tough to get yourself to watch all the Marvel movies. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I get that. I can respect it. I'm not a Avengers diehard fan, so I can't do that. There are 2 series though. I will if you don't watch them. I'm going to be like, listen, you have a choice, or this is just friendship isn't going to last.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen them. It's Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Those are 2 you have to watch them. They're the best franchise ever. And
you hear about the HBO HBO Harry Potter show they're coming out with now? They just released the actors.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm both excited and not excited for it because like there's so much in the books that don't get covered in the movies and maybe change a little bit. But like unfortunately, I'm so in love with the series. I'm gonna see some new actor for Harry and be like, fuck that guy. That's not Harry.
Yeah, the actors seemed like they did an okay job on. I've only seen Ron, Harry, and Hermione, but the only reason I'm optimistic, well, one, because I love the series, obviously the books and the movies, but it's going to be new Harry Potter content, so I'm going to watch it. And each season is supposed to be the entire book. So like they're apparently going into every detail that's covered in the book.
Nice.
So for like the Half-Blood Prince, I'm stoked on because the Half-Blood Prince, they talk a lot about Voldemort that they don't really cover in the book. I mean, that they cover in the movie. So I'm pumped for that one. So I mean, I'll watch it, but it'll be interesting to see different people play the cast.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They're gonna have to do a really good job of getting into the details and doing it the right way for me to help me over. Like I'm gonna watch it to overlook the characters. It's just gonna take time, but I'm hoping they have to nail the first season. Because if they nail the first season, I can probably overlook that.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably be over it by the end of the first season.
So they can't have any of the old actors in this, like in different roles. Like Harry can't be playing Snape. Like Daniel Radcliffe can't be playing Snape.
Yeah,
that's gonna piss everyone off.
However, if they want to do like a flash forward, actually, they can't.
No,
I was trying to think. Do they mention old Harry at all in the books? But that's what I was getting at. But that never happens. So you can't.
They do the very, very end, like the book flash. Yeah, but that's
like Daniel Radcliffe should play that one scene in season 7. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. But I'll watch. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not a ton of shows that are on right now for me. So anytime I can get a new show out, I'm in. And I think this might be kind of a good segue talking about things that could be blown. We had a top 5 today.
Yes. I'm excited
top
about this.
5 blown calls of all time. I know you came up with this or mentioned it. Was there any particular call that kind of sparked you wanted to cover this, or just it is just a really good conversation?
You mean like a recent call?
Yeah, a recent call that kind of sparked the wanting to do this.
Yeah, the Shea push off no call in game 3 or game 4 on Friday. Shea clearly pushes off, hits a shot. It's a big shot.
And kind of the phantom foul like the play before too. I mean, the Naismith foul clearly got him. The first one though was like iffy.
It's a racket. It's a racket.
That's an MVP.
Nothing's ever perfect, but that's you can't make the call. And then we've just seen some blown calls. But yeah, I wanted to dive into some fucked up plays. So I'm pulling up the list here. Do you have a preference?
I do. I think there's a clear 1-1, and I don't think it's particularly close.
How do we decide this? Who went first last time?
Shit, what was our last one?
Was it dogs or was it no? It could have been dogs. Let's see. I'll look at the Twitter.
Oh, jeez. It would also be funny. We're going through all this and we have a different 1-1, but like I really don't think it's possible.
The top five things people do that annoy us, I think was the last one that we did.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Flip a coin?
Yeah, you can decide. I'll let you decide where you want.
I'm gonna do a flip the coin app here.
Okay.
Let me share my screen real quick. I'm gonna call heads.
Okay.
Here we go. Once just pull this up here. I'm gonna go to this. I haven't flipped it. Is the first flip. Clicking it.
Let's go. All right. I will be taking 1-1.
I just said I was calling tails.
No, you didn't. You said heads.
No, I didn't.
We haven't recorded.
There's no way that's the case, but I mean, okay. I'll give it to you.
No, you can have first because I thought you said tails. Or I mean heads. So
I will always call tails. I never.
That's why I was shocked that you said heads.
I would be so embarrassed if I look back and I said heads.
I'm pretty sure you said heads.
I wish there was a way to check this right now.
Okay. You can go first though. You can go first.
Blowing the perfect game, Jim Joyce, Armando God. It's happened like 19 times in baseball history, and you give it the benefit of the doubt, dude. And it wasn't even fucking close.
Yeah. Because you know what? If you give them the benefit of the doubt, you can put an asterisk on it later.
Yeah, you can't go back and my God.
No, and I'm just for the listeners at home, when y'all do hear Evan call heads and I gave it to him, you'll know that was also my first pick. But he called heads and y'all all will have heard it by now. Armando, yeah, it's that guy went from being potentially in the Hall of Fame like performances category to being remembered for something that's not his fault. And like his career didn't I don't think he really did much after that. Like it's just an absolute shame. It sucks for him. It sucks for Jim Joyce. Credit to Jim Joyce though for coming out and being like, I was wrong. I feel like the worst person of all time. What's up?
Here's my thing on that. You don't have a choice. You were blatantly wrong. Like you can't stick to your guns and be like, oh. However, I will give him credit for just out being like, I don't know how the fuck I missed it.
Yeah. Well, it's not even like
he didn't make an excuse.
I'm not saying that he should have made an excuse, but majority of refs would just not ever come out and do anything. And like he reached out to Armando, he was crying, he's clearly upset.
Yeah, I respect that. But I mean, also you don't really have a choice in a little bit of a way, in my opinion. But he did do it the right way, regardless.
Okay. God, that was the best 1-1 for sure. My first pick, because I don't think you'd have it, so it might be a bad gameplay, but I think it's the second best, probably actually the number one.
I get call. Actually, I don't want to say it. I'm gonna. All right, I'll just say it, and I'll tell you if it was what I was thinking of.
It's the hand of God.
Yeah, that's number two.
I honestly think this is probably the biggest blown call of all time, just because of what it represented. It was a World Cup final, and England and Argentina as countries hate each other because of the Falkland Islands and all the wars and things that happened there. There's legit hate, and England had a awesome team and should have probably won the World Cup if not for the best executed handball I've ever seen. So hand of God. I mean, he's still hated in England because of that. And then
not cheating, not trying. I gotta respect it.
That's right. I mean, one of my buddies on our adult league team, he tried that the other day, and he did get caught, but it was close. I mean, it was a good looking fake, but he jumped up and hit it with his backhand. It was pretty good. The next one I'm going to go with is the tuck rule. Horrible blown call.
Right call. If you look at the rule book, it was the right call. Do I agree with the call or the way the rule is written? Absolutely not. It was the wrong rule written, but they got the call right.
Tuck rule, blown call, started an evil empire. They had to change rules around for him. Yeah, it was absolute and utter bullshit. You can't hurt me anymore.
It's okay. I know it's permanently scarred.
That wasn't against me, so I'm not that worried about. That was before the Colts started to get sodomized by y'all. So I'm fine with that. All right, you're back on the board.
I'm gonna go to the football one, kind of an old classic. It's when Colorado got 5 downs to beat Missouri.
Had it on the list.
Like it just doesn't really make sense to me how that happens. And then
before you go to the next one, how there's a whole team or a gang, if you prefer, called the Chain Gang that has a thing that flips.
Well, also just how do the refs forget what down it is too?
There's
Like,
only 4.
yeah, there's so many people going on. It's not like we're like, what move of the chess game was it? It's
Yeah.
like, no, what down is it? Like,
Yeah. That one's everyone's at fault there for just like somebody's got to say something.
There's so many things wrong.
Yeah.
And here's one that it's probably not the biggest blown call of all time. And I'm just doing it. You rocking the South Carolina hat today. The poor spot on the play before the Jadeveon Clowney hit that set up the greatest hit of all time in college football.
Yeah.
So, and I really just have it there because of what happened on the next play. But that, the call was just blatantly awful. The camera angle was perfect. It's a whole 4 inches behind the marker, and then just the next play, and then just a beautiful call on it too. So it was.
So that little fun backstory on that play happened the day after I got my acceptance letter to South Carolina, and I was at a New Year's party, I think. I was like early in the day because I think it was a New Year's Six game, right? It was the Outback Bowl.
Yeah, it was New Year's Day. Yeah.
So I was at a New Year's. I was still at the New Year's Eve party that I was at the night before, like buddy's house, parents out of town, just licking our wounds, watching football, and that hit came, and the guy whose house I was at also went to South Carolina. We were just like, we're going here, and then when we got to
was that the moment before the play happened, had you already like, hey, I'm definitely going here, or was it still up in the air?
Yeah, still up there. I was like, football rocks. I'm going here. But we had first night Carolina, obviously it's a tradition we have it at South Carolina for freshmen, but it was raining the day, so we couldn't go out on the field. So they just had this thing in Russell House, and they just had that play on loop with a bunch of freshmen in this big ass room. Just had that play on loop. So yeah, that's awesome moment, awesome memory. All right. There's some good ones here, man. My next pick, I'm going to go with the Kings versus Lakers series. I believe it was 2001, maybe. The best Kings team of our lifetime: Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Stojakovic. I'll check real quick.
I want to say it's 2002, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, 2002. You're right. The whole series, but specifically the last couple games. The best Kings teams we've probably seen realistically in our lifetime, like I said, with Stojakovic, Mike Bibby, Chris Webber. I mean, Stojakovic was one of my favorite players on NBA Live 2004.
Great team to play with. They were so fun to play with.
And a couple calls going against them that maybe shouldn't have. We find out, years later that Tim Donaghy was all wrapped up in the scandal. So I don't know if the calls were actually blown. I think they were intentionally thrown, but just still to this day, the Kings were cursed. And from that, basically legitimately changing the outcome of an entire series.
Also, not to throw shade on Sacramento, but why the fuck does Sacramento still have a basketball team?
Why? Makes no sense.
Let's bring it to a cool city. Sacramento really doesn't have much to offer us.
No. Even if you did I was going to say San Francisco, but they have a team. The Seattle Kings would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Sacramento.
I don't think they've ever had good fans. I don't remember the early 2000s when they had those teams. I don't remember what the fans were like back then. So excuse me if they were good. My
cousin lives up in the hills of Northern California, and pretty much San Francisco and up is all Kings fans because they have nothing else. And they actually do pay attention. I don't know if they're going to games, but they're pretty locked in.
I got an uncle in Folsom, which is a little bit outside, but
Folsom, yeah. All right,
for sure.
With my next pick, oh gosh. I hate this team. I liked this guy. I'll go with it. The Dez catch. It was a catch.
I didn't have that on my list, and here's what I'll tell you. But I thought about putting it. I just kind of came up with things I liked more. I just think the whole, even going on to this day, what is a catch and what's not a catch? We're still playing that game. We're still playing a game. Is this a blown call? Is that not a blown call? But I like that pick. I think it's a great pick.
There's one other one that I liked there better, but the Dez catch for how mad and still unclear it is.
Yeah. No, I like that one a lot. And that's going to bring me to my fourth pick, I believe.
I think I feel like I should know what it is.
You should. I don't think you should know what it is. I mean, the other thing is a few good options here. It's going to be a few options, but I have to go with it. It's the Saints versus Rams no pass interference call. Like it was just too blatant. Like I just still to this day I don't know how that was not called.
I remember watching that and just being like looking around for a flag and just nothing. Like nothing. It's honestly kind of impressive that it's gone this late. Because that was the second one I wrote down actually. I just like some other ones better. But even the explanation didn't make any sense.
No. And especially with everything on the line of that play too. Like the moment really matters for that play.
Was that an overtime or was that to go to overtime?
To go to overtime. So basically, I think without that pass interference or whatever, there wouldn't have been overtime. I don't remember the exact scenario. But basically,
the Saints were about to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Or no. They were about to.
Yes.
Were they about to go to the Super Bowl or were they playing the Vikings who in the Minnesota?
No, they're playing the Rams. They were playing the Rams. And the
Rams was that to go to the NFC Championship game against the Vikings who just won on the Minnesota Miracle?
No, because the Vikings didn't make a Super Bowl.
I know the Rams did over the Vikings after beating the Saints.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
For some reason, let's clarify this one.
Yeah, is that the 13-10 Super Bowl?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I want to say it was the NFC Championship game.
No, you're right. Saints versus Rams, 2019 NFC Championship game.
Yep.
So it was to send the Rams to the Super Bowl.
Correct. And the Saints would have lost anyways, but
the Saints would have at least scored some points, I think.
It probably would have been a more entertaining Super Bowl.
Much more entertaining. Because that was young Goff, too.
Yep.
Yeah, driving potential game-winning field goal. I forgot about that. Just the screenshot is hilarious. All right, what's your next pick?
So this one's I'm not sure if you know about or but I've heard about kind of from hockey. It's the Brett Hull goal to beat the Sabres in the 1999 Stanley Cup Finals. So it was a controversial goal. I'm not necessarily going to say it was a blown call, but it's very controversial. And depending what side you're on, I can see how it could be blown.
Yeah.
So basically how the rule was back then that if your skate is in the crease before the puck, it's a no goal.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you look at the replay, I'll leave it up to your own interpretation. Pretty close, pretty tic-tac. And funny enough, before the start of next season, the rule was changed. So it no longer became a rule. So kind of makes you realize maybe it was blown call.
Almost how the Tuck rule happened, yeah.
Hey, the Tuck rule took 5 more years to happen, so it wasn't him. So it wasn't directly. And I'm pretty sure, and if it was to win the Stanley Cup, like that goal won the Stanley Cup. The goal went in overtime, cup was over. Yeah. So that's what I had.
No, that's a good one. I did see a couple hockey ones. I just didn't watch enough hockey. I've got a lot of good honorable mentions, but there's one that I think people will be the most mad about us missing. It's not what I'll say. This is a soccer one that I was going to save for late regardless. So, gosh, this must have been 5 or 6 years ago, I guess. You know what goal line technology is, right?
Yes.
So it was one of the first years goal line technology was being brought out. Aston Villa was freshly promoted. Jack Grealish was their star boy, all this other stuff. They're playing, I think, against Sheffield United, and Sheffield United score. They scored the ball, and it's the one instance that goal line technology didn't work. Goal line technology didn't work. Goal doesn't. They don't call the goal, and Aston Villa goes on to win that game. Avoids relegation. If they had not won that game, they would have been relegated. It saved them $300 million over 3 years because if a team gets promoted, their payout for the ad deals is $300 million over 3 years, which means some other team that got relegated unfairly lost $300 million. Aston Villa would then go on to they were in the Final Four of the Champions League this year. They sold Jack Grealish for $100 million. They are a perennial top 7, top 8 team in the Premier League right now. And all of it is because they should not have been they should have been relegated. They literally got handed a gift the one time goal line technology didn't work. Let's see. Let me go back to find the exacts of it.
Here, while you do that, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Please hold for a moment of our sponsors. This quiet time is brought to you by Dude Wipe while Evan takes a shit. Okay, yeah. So Aston Villa versus Sheffield United failed to award Sheffield United a goal. Sheffield United's Twitter account just post really. I mean, the ball is a good 6 inches in the net or passed over the goal line. Basically, this missed call cost one team $300 million.
Jesus.
Yeah.
With 300,000 or 300 million?
300 million, sorry. 300 million. Yeah.
Damn. That has big implications. I would certainly want those. Damn. That sucks for Sheffield United. That kind of have they done anything since then?
They've gotten promoted one other time and immediately relegated again. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find anything else. But yeah, this was like the only time that this didn't work, the goal line technology. A couple of the ones I had on here that I wanted to talk about. The Fail Mary obviously was a big one.
Have that.
UVA versus Auburn game 3. Kyle Guy 3.
Yep.
The Cold War 1972 Olympics when the refs let the Soviets continue to play. The NBA draft is a concept. The lottery is a concept. And then the last one I wrote down was the Arizona State play calling. This is not on the officials, but the play calling last year where they just kept like taking sacks and then like almost screwed themselves out of a lead because they just like. Do you remember that play? It was last season.
Yeah, kind of coming back, like not like vividly, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, that would have been a blown call by Whittingham, or not Whittingham. That's the Utah coach. What is the Arizona State coach? Rob something?
Kenny
Dillingham.
Dillingham, yeah.
Yeah, so almost a blown call by him, but he narrowly avoided it.
So I only had one that you didn't mention just there, and that's the Music City Miracle.
I almost wrote that down.
So
you think
that's what I'm very debatable on. Like it's kind of tough to tell. Like, I don't have an opinion really one way or the other. I'm not a fan of either team, so I don't really give a shit. So, but I definitely felt like it was worth the mention.
Yeah. I think the Bills got screwed. The Titans cheated. They should be sent back to the UFL. So yeah, fuck them.
Fuck the Bills back then.
Sure,
now I'm okay with the Bills.
Yeah,
they're my little brother.
Yeah, that's the top 5 blown calls draft. I'm sure we forgot some. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from the 3 people that are still listening. We really appreciate those people. Only one of them is me. The other one might be you. So the one person listening, we appreciate you. And so yeah, what do we have next? I know we're coming up on about hour 15, which is where we try to usually keep it. Any other pieces you want to get to today?
Yeah, I did have one more conversation topic with you.
Yeah.
So I know we briefly prepped this, but so hypothetical for you, and let me make sure I just get it right. I wrote it down here. It was a drunk thought I had, so I want to make sure.
Yeah,
everything well. So the concept is you get to time travel. And you can have 2 options here. You can either go forward in time or backwards in time. Which one are you going to pick? However, there are a couple caveats to this. So the caveat is, first off, you're not going to be able to go back and change history. Nothing you do is going to impact history. You're basically going to kind of just be there. You can mess around and do things, but nothing you do can have drastic effects on the world today. And also, like if someone makes an invention,
like I can't steal their invention.
Correct. You can't like bring it back now, come back today. You can't go to the future. They have, these cool inventions. You come back now and just invent it that way. And also in the same caveat, like if you go to the future and it's 35 years from now and the whole world blows up, there's nothing you can do to prevent that either. So that's, you got to deal with that. Which one are you picking?
So I'm definitely going back in time. I'm already too futuristic of a time for my own liking. I'm gonna go back in time. I thought about this a couple of times. I think it'd be really, really sick to be born in like the 60s. You kind of miss out on, or even no, born in like the 40s. You kind of miss out on World War II. You're growing up through like the era of really cool music, like just like that 70s show vibes. And you're about to die now.
Time travel, so you can go back like any time periods you want. You can keep going back to a bunch of different stuff. But so you're saying you'd go back and just kind of chill there?
Yeah. I mean, like going to Woodstock would be super cool, like original Woodstock. I mean, if I can keep going back, I don't have to just like pick a time and now I live there.
No, I was thinking you can just go explore and do cool stuff.
Well, then I'm definitely going back to like dinosaur time. I'm checking some of that out. I want to see these bad boys in real life. This is dark, but I kind of want to see like a Mayan sacrifice, like how bloody these things were. I've seen Apocalypto a bunch of times, so I'm assuming it's worse than that. Or like ancient Greece and ancient Rome with all that shit going on.
I'm going to the Colosseum for sure.
Yeah. I want to see like a lion fight a camel or something. Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be a lot. Like Mayan civilization would be super, super cool to me. But yeah, ultimately, I think the place I'm chilling the most is like ancient. Oh man, but the Vikings are cool. Ancient Greece, probably though, man. Like they've got inventions, they've got art, they've got theater, they've got booze.
Yeah, see, here's my thing. I think I love history so much, and this may ruin history for me. But like, I would love to go back and just see what actually happened in certain situations. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, what happened at this battle? Like, obviously, like winners get to write the textbook. Is this really how shit went down?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly happened? What was exactly this situation? And then there's another thing. I got to go see. Crap. Who's that? Absolutely the ancient
Egypt.
Woman. She lived in Egypt, like the hottest woman of all time, basically.
Cleopatra or Megan of
Cleopatra. There we go.
Or who's the other one? Helen of Troy.
Yeah, both of them. I got to go back and see how those people look.
Yeah,
those things. And then another one you talked about, like I gotta go check out like these tragedies. Like I want to see what's going on. Like how bad actually was it? And this one's probably like messed up. I would even look at some modern day tragedies. I don't know if I'd do more than one, but I'd be like, what was it actually like?
Yeah.
See like how like awful some of those situations are. Just like I think it not to appreciate it, but just like understand like how bad some shit was.
Go back to the submarine right before it implodes.
Yeah, or be like, or this one's real morbid, but like I have some ties to 9/11, so like not personal ties. My dad was.
Did you just implicate yourself?
My dad was
implicate yourself live on the show.
Let me clarify. My dad was supposed to be on the plane that hit. So, but anyways, just go back and like see what it was actually like in the Twin Towers, those kind of things. That's what I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
However, here's what I will argue about the future piece, though.
Yeah.
Here's what I thought. It's a much bigger risk reward situation for me in the future piece because one, it could be like 10 years. Like the future could just not exist for as far as we know. But like also if based off the rule, hey, maybe civilization rebuilds itself and we all come back. But also some of the cool shit you might be able to do in the future, like maybe we get past the point of being too futuristic, we get back to a point of being cool again, and we get back to that point. I don't know. But I think the future has the highest possible upside. Like I think there's stuff in the future that could just be the coolest thing absolutely ever. But with that being said, there's too big of a risk reward. The past, I'm guaranteed to enjoy. I think.
Yeah. I tell you what would be cool. Yeah, you just time travel to the future and it's just a black room. It's just everything's gone.
Yeah.
Like one of the first places I think I'd go back to is time travel back to Dallas in what was it, like 69, 70 or whatever, whenever JFK got shot.
Oh, like 63, I think, actually.
Just oh yeah, because the civil rights is 64, 63, one and two. But time travel back to and just show up in the annex and just look, just wait. You see here?
Oh yeah.
Or like even a little bit like the day before and see if you can catch the FBI like prepping the room for the fake shot that they blamed on Oswald or whatever.
I think that's a good point. Like those things, like I'm a very curious person. I want to know the answers. Like I want to know what actually happened, everything. I don't really like gossiping. I don't really give a shit about that. I just want to know, so I can actually know.
So I've got my answer now. I recently read a book called The Splendid and the Vile, and it's basically a book completely written through like Winston Churchill and his family's diary entries during the bombings of Britain, and like the people close to him, and they would just hold these like garden parties and like sleepovers basically at the prime minister's house. I think it was called Checkers, where they would all just hang out and get drunk and listen to Churchill talk while there's legitimately bombings going on. That would be pretty fun. Just like all the aristocrat society just hanging out, getting boozed up while these bombs are going off all around them. That'd be pretty wild. Or like watch Normandy from a hill. Watch Normandy from a hill.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
See, the thing about that one is like I don't want to see a bunch of Americans get mowed down.
I wouldn't hang out there very long, but I want to see what.
Yeah, like the first like kind of landing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or maybe like once we take over the bunkers, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I went to Normandy last summer, and just knowing what I know now, I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I want to get to Normandy. I heard I'm like pretty close to a life-changing experience. I heard it's like a really like
cool. It was cool.
Spot. Like it's just something worth doing.
It was very cool. The cemetery there is pretty spectacular, and then Normandy is a pretty beautiful region outside of that piece. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. That's a good question, though, man. There's a lot of stuff that I'd want to see and go back and take a look at.
Yeah, maybe we'll invent the time machine one day. Anyone that's like anyone that says they wouldn't time travel, liars.
Yeah,
I'm taking that risk. I'm going for it.
No doubt. Yeah, I think that was everything I had, though. I've got one other football thing that I want to get into it, but I think that maybe we should save it for some football news. Cool. Yeah, but when we have more football talking later in the summer.
Yeah, cool. And then I know we talked about doing it next week. We're actually gonna dive into a live Gridiron Grids as well. We'll start the show with that. Jump right into that, and then hopefully have some good football news between now and then.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Boone, enjoy your weekend at the lake. Great talking to you as always, and goodbye, everybody.
See ya.